Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so the Lakers and the Kings play tonight at 6 p.m. The game's at Golden One Center in Sacramento. And essentially what we have going on is a situation where the Lakers are having trouble scoring the ball. We scored 105 points in a loss against the Denver Nuggets and 100 points in a win against the Phoenix Suns, who didn't have Devin Booker and of course did not have Bradley Beal as well. It was by the grace of the King that we were able to get by that game. Basically a couple layups, driving at the rim, sealing the deal for the Lakers is why we were able to even have a lead in the end. And we didn't have the lead for the majority of the game. Kevin Durant carved us up, and we couldn't get anything out of pretty much anyone not named LeBron James. D'Lo's shooting hasn't been very good. Rui Hachimura didn't get many minutes in that game. Gabe Vincent shot very bad in that game, although he had some good defensive plays that, are worth pointing out because otherwise we'd be complaining. But, I think that at the end of the day, the rotations have been a bit on the shaky side, and of course it's the beginning of the season, so you kind of expect that. But all in all, this hasn't been two good games of the Lakers. We're very happy to have split record given how poorly we've played. Now, we're still missing some guys. Our three two-way dudes will not be playing tonight. They still are working with the G League. Demoy Hodge, Alex Fudge, and Colin Castleton will not be in the game tonight. And we're also missing Jalen Hood-Schifino, who's still recovering from his ailment, and Vanderbilt as well, who's also trying to recover. Those guys will not be available. For the Kings tonight, they are only missing one guy, and that is Trey Lyles. Kind of glad Trey Lyles is not out there because he's been a Laker killer the last couple years. He's been with the Kings. He has really played well against us. The Sacramento Kings are a team right now. I did quite a bit of studying on them. I didn't watch any highlights, but I did study the numbers and read some things. And they're coming off a loss against the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have had their number in preseason and in the regular season as well. They've been losing some close games against them. And Steph Curry's been shooting lights out. I mean, it's real bad there. But, the Sacramento Kings, all in all, are a team that's really putting up a lot of three-point shots. To be exact, 91 three-point shots over the last two games. Not shooting above 37%, though. In fact, I think it was the first game they shot 51 of them, and it was like 36%. And then the last game, they were really anemic. Also noteworthy, they didn't shoot well from the free throw line. 69% from the free throw line in the game against the Golden State Warriors, but that really just came down to Harrison Barnes going 1 for 4 and JaVale McGee missing free throws and that kind of thing. Everybody else only missed one, so that's kind of scurred. But they don't score a lot in the paint because they attempt so many threes. So you're not going to see them try to really attack the paint unless something changes. As I mentioned, JaVale McGee is on this team, which is a blast from the past for us because, of course, we've had him on our team. We won a championship with JaVale. And, of course, Malik Monk is on the squad as well, who had a monster jam in their first matchup against the Utah Jazz, I believe it was. Was it Utah? I don't know who they played, but whoever that was. Yeah, I think it was Dunn that he dunked on real bad, real bad. And we know what Malik Monk can do. He also can get in the assist column and had about 6 of those in the last game. So we got to watch out for him off the bench. Vincikov is a three-point shooter that they're really excited about. Can play the center position, play the forward position. They've been running him at forward. And they haven't really given him a lot of minutes, but I know he's going to have a breakout at some point when they decide to. And since they are down a power forward with Lyles, I do believe that Vincikov could get some minutes tonight against the Lakers at home. Noteworthy for sure, Kevin Huerter's been cold, like ice cold. So we got to keep an eye open for him. He's due to break out of that slump maybe at home. But as of late, he just can't throw a rock in the ocean. He was 0 for 5 in the last game, and he was pretty cold in the one before that. So maybe they move Malik to the starting position in place of him. I think that might be something they may consider. But you got to watch out for Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. Those are the superstars on this team. De'Aaron Fox had 39 points in 39 minutes in the last game. He's really, really lighting it up. And Domantas Sabonis is practically a triple-double threat every night. High rebounds, good assist numbers, and can score as well. So we're going to have to keep an eye on both of those players. They are definitely starting the season off right for themselves. Keegan Murray is a player you really got to be wary about as well. He came into the league as a rookie last year, damn near breaking three-point records, if not for sure. I think he did break a 3-point record for the most threes attempted by a rookie or made by a rookie. I'm not sure which one, but he did something very special last year as a rookie, and is coming in with a whole lot of confidence. And of course, his doppelganger, Harrison Barnes, even though they don't look alike, and he does have a twin brother, ironically, but him and Harrison Barnes are essentially the same height, same weight, same position. So Harrison Barnes came in the first game and had a really strong game. He had over 30 points against the Utah Jazz. So we're going to have to keep an eye open for the inconsistency of these guys. One day they play great, the next day they don't, that kind of thing. Shooting the ball, you definitely know the 3 ball is going to fall, or whether fly. Whether it falls or not, totally different story, but we want to take advantage of what we can do in transition, because they did have some transition issues stopping the run. I think they gave up 18 points or something like that off of like 12 turnovers. Don't quote me on that, but they definitely are a team that doesn't guard transition as well as one would think. So, that's really what comes to mind immediately when you're considering this Sacramento Kings team. They definitely are a team that you're going to have to watch out for in that area. But the defensive area, you should be able to score on them maybe more than you would on average teams, because they don't really play defense like that. They're looking to outscore you at all times. De'Aaron Fox is an unguardable player for us. Every year we have trouble with this dude. And I don't expect tonight to be any different. Since we're in their building, we're going to expect for them to have a high energy atmosphere about themselves, since it's the beam gimmick that they always got going on. They're going to want to light the beam. So we got to come in with a certain sense of pride. But I'm telling you, the way that we've been running our offense, is going to be very difficult to see us being able to keep up with them if we don't make some real changes. D'Angelo Russell's going to have to score more. Austin Reeves is going to have to step up and score more. Rui Hachimura has to come around and score some. We can't have another shooting performance like that from Gabe Vincent. All of these guys that have been missing shots are just going to have to make those shots if we have any shot at beating the Sacramento Kings. LeBron James can do all that he can, but we have a back-to-back tomorrow. Again, we will be in L.A. to play the Orlando Magic. So I don't know how many minutes they're going to want to give LeBron and AD tonight, given that that's going to be the case. I can imagine they may want to sit one of them dudes tomorrow. So this is a very serious game. You don't want to go down 1-2 going into tomorrow's matchup against a very much improved Orlando team. So, keeping the Sacramento Kings from lighting that beam should be of the highest priority for our franchise today. And given the fact that we're missing some of our key players, particularly Vanderbilt is still out, it would have been wonderful if we could have used our two-way guys. Honestly, we played them so much in the preseason, especially a guy like Castleton, who helps us so much on the offensive boards. I don't think he should be on a two-way contract. I think he should be one of our regular rookies. In fact, Jalen should probably be on the two-way instead of Castleton, to be honest with you, given the needs of the team. But all in all, that's what it is. Cam Reddish is probable for tonight. Still dealing with the ankle, I believe it is, but he has played in the first 2 preseason games. He's played fair. I don't think he played that great in the last one, but you can always count on him to be active on both sides of the floor. So if he's not doing something on one side, he may be able to help you on the other. He's that kind of guy. I like his length and I like his energy as well. We just need him to take good shots and be consistent with those shots falling, as everybody else. So Anthony Davis has been really good through the first 2 games, even though, of course, in the first game he didn't score in the second half, so that really stood out with 17 points. He still helped us defensively, still helped us on the boards. The last game he had about 30 points, if I'm not mistaken, 13 boards or something like that. We need him to continue his 30-point scoring type ways if we have any shot at beating this high-scoring Sacramento Kings team. And LeBron James, he's been great. I just hate the minutes restriction that we've placed on him. I think he's in the best shape he's been in maybe 3 years, and I don't think that he actually is in need of the minutes restriction that we're using. Now, if he happens to pick up an injury or shows some fatigue, then yeah, maybe we want to slow him down. But I just think we're going about this a bit too cautious, and as a result, we're not getting the most out of the King. Now, he was able to play in the last game and help us quite a bit, because if we didn't have him out there, we wouldn't have been very much. But at the end of the day, it did come down to us not being able to score much of anything without him, and then, of course, being a fantastic scoring team with him on the floor. That's kind of how it's going for us this season. We're nothing without him, or everything with him. So if we're not going to have him on the floor, I expect more of the same. I really like what I saw in us using a 2 center lineup with Christian Wood and Anthony Davis. That length really helped us on the boards, gave us a lot. And with them dealing with JaVale McGee and Vincent, and, of course, Sabonis down there in the length of Murray and Harrison, we're going to need to go to that lineup to try to help ourselves on the boards, or else we're going to have some issues. in my humble opinion. We're just going to need rebounding to be on the forefront of our minds. Also, D'Angelo Russell, if I haven't already mentioned this, we really need him to come back to life, man. He was playing great in the preseason, and all that confidence, all of that that he was giving us there just kind of dissipated to what we are used to from D'Lo, which is subpar numbers, kind of iffy, not really giving us enough. We need him to step back up into his confidence and really play well against the Sacramento Kings tonight, especially against a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who's going to bring it in every way, shape, and form. Not the greatest matchup for us defensively there, although I've seen D'Lo make some good defensive plays of late, stealing the ball. I've loved what he's done. In some areas, his defense has improved. But at the end of the day, it's going to have to come on the offensive end. He's going to have to hit shots. We can't go 6 for 16 or whatever that is. He needs to step it up on the road tonight if we're going to win this game. So this is one of those games where when you watch so much Laker basketball, you guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen the Lakers come into games like this so many times and lose by double digits. I'm just going to be honest. That's kind of what I expect. Only because our offense is the problem right now, and they shoot a lot. So I don't assume that they're going to miss shots the way that they did against the Golden State Warriors. And because they got their fans behind them in the beam, it's so many times we've seen this, dude. I've seen this too many times, and I'd love to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I'm rooting for the Lakers at all times. But, if you want my expert opinion of watching this sport for the last 30 years, Lakers usually don't win games like this, man, especially with a back-to-back coming tomorrow. Short a defensive player like Vanderbilt, short the young player that we're going to be missing in Jalen. It's just kind of tough unless somebody goes off. You got guys like Malik Monk, who's going to want to play great against his old team, JaVale McGee, who's going to want to play great against his old team, and Coach Ham, who's likely going to want to put small players on the floor while JaVale's on the floor. I mean, it's just a bad combination, and our tendencies work against us. We were barely able to even compete with the Phoenix Suns, who only had Kevin Durant on the floor, no other stars, and their role players were giving us hell. And we didn't have the lead for a good majority of that game. We just are not carrying great tendencies into this basketball game on the road with a game tomorrow night. And I just have my concerns, real concerns. But, I've been wrong more than enough times to know that could be the case today. And hopefully the Los Angeles Lakers give us exactly what we're looking for, which is a victory against a very high-scoring Sacramento Kings team. Got to keep them from lighting that beam, man. I don't want to see 50 Cent and all that. I don't want to see none of that tonight. We need to be in a position to upset this squad, and it's going to start with us helping ourselves in transition. Getting transition buckets and stopping them from scoring transition buckets. They, too, scored a lot of points in transition against the Golden State Warriors. In fact, I think the Golden State Warriors gave up maybe 26 points in transition, if I read that correctly. That's one of our weaknesses. So if they're getting out in the fast break, dunking and flying, De'Aaron Foxing and all of that stuff, believe you me, that just works against us even further. I don't think the matchup looks great. That's what I see here. This particular year, I don't know that we match up well with the Kings. Now, granted, we have guys like Taurean Prince, who had a really good game against the Denver Nuggets, where he shot very well and then came back and had an 0 for gopher in the game against Phoenix. So I don't know which Taurean's going to show up, but we're going to need a better Taurean than we saw in the last one if we're going to beat the Kings. And his defense has really shown up very nicely. We like that. Also, Christian Wood, we got to find ways of using this guy a bit better. As I said, I like the 2 center lineup with him on the floor. Maybe try to get our guy Jackson Hayes on the floor a little more today since JaVale's down there. But we're going to have to respect that we're going to need the length to try to match up with what it is they're bringing on the floor, because they're not going to have too many small ball lineups. That's not what Coach Brown is going to be doing too much on their side. So, Coach of the Year, Coach Brown, by the way, last year. And so we respect the Sacramento Kings team. They were a contender last year. And I don't know why they wouldn't be again this season, given the fact they haven't lost too much and have gained a lot. Now, a guy by the name of Chris Doherty is on this team. He also had an 0 for gopher night against the Golden State Warriors. Coming in from the Indiana Pacers, I know he can play well. I don't know how much they want to use him. He got the most minutes of any guard coming off the bench. I don't know if that's going to continue. But, we got to respect their shooting guard position because they have a good rotation of guys with Monk, Herter, and Doherty. So understand that shooting guard position is important tonight. We're going to have to play well on both sides of the floor to beat these guys there. But at the end of the day, you just got to deal with the length, man. Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray are going to give us hell. We already know that. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. Harrison Barnes is going to use his big body to get in the paint, lay the ball up. Hopefully he shoots poorly from the free throw line once again. But he can very easily bounce back and have another 30-plus point game, especially if we don't defend. And we didn't do that great against Kevin Durant. Never would compare the two of them, but at the end of the day, that's what we're dealing with. As we know, KCP killed us in the Denver game. Malik Monk, you know what I'm saying? You got to respect the fact that these guys love coming back, beating their old teams. So if we're not gonna come up there with a certain level of pride, they're gonna knock us off, and it's gonna be Malik that has a big part in that. So these are things I'm just looking at, man. You know, De'Aaron Fox is a player who shot very poorly in the first game against the Utah Jazz from behind the arc, and then came back and shot very well against Golden State from behind the arc. So he's hot and cold. You don't know what you can expect from him. Play it by ear. And again, I honestly don't expect Kevin Huerter to play much worse from here. He's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. He's just in a funk, and he's an elite shooter, very good defensive player, guy who can get involved in different combo situations, and he knows he's coming off 2 bad games with being at risk for losing minutes with, as I said, competition at that shooting guard position. I just don't expect for him to play much worse for much longer. So that's something we need to be aware of. So yeah, those are the thoughts, man. I just understand the Sacramento Kings team is going to put up a lot of points. They put up 130 points against the Utah Jazz and 115 points against the Golden State Warriors. And that, my friends, is far more points than we've put up in these last 2 games. So if we're going to continue to have these little funny little offenses, and guys are going to play lackadaisical and all this, not try to take advantage of certain situations, not hit shots, we can pencil ourselves in for a loss. So, you know, sometimes you just come into games knowing that you haven't played well. Lucky to have beaten a shorthanded Phoenix team, and you hope your team can bounce back, but because it's a back-to-back, you have even more concerns. So that's kind of my attitude, man. I hate to be a Debbie Downer going into this basketball game, but I just ain't seen too many times when the Lakers win games like this. But at the same time, if we were to win a game like this, I think it could be an incredible boost to our morale. And any given Sunday, anybody can have an off game. Maybe Sacramento has an off game and ends up coughing it up, since they have been shooting poorly from behind the arc and want to take so many threes. So that's really what it is, man. They haven't shot above 45% in either one of these games, but want to launch 91 of them. I think we can find success so long as that continues and we do our best on the offensive end. So that's my thought, man. It's going to be a good one if we show up. You know what I mean? We definitely have Anthony Davis who can go light it up for as much as 40, 45 points if he's really feeling himself. We just need him to give us what we need in both halves, because obviously he comes out of the locker room, maybe show up, maybe not. I do like the fact that we have that Christian Wood piece in place that can help supplement some of his offense if we choose to use him properly. And look, this is important, man. Gabe Vincent, he did some really good things defensively. He can do combo things, passing the rock, playing defense, but his shot has been bad. It's almost like Jalen Hood-Schifino all over again. Both of those guys have had this issue since the start of the preseason. That they can't necessarily hit shots, but they want to help in other areas. But those missed shots really hurt because we are scoring deficient at this point. So I need Gabe Vincent to score the ball, man. If he's going to be out there, I need him to score the ball, and I need the turnovers to not really come from his position. Against the Denver Nuggets, he turned the ball over and stuff like that in some key moments. I don't like it. I'm not feeling it, and it's going to be a situation where if he has another bad game, I'm going to want us to give his minutes to somebody else. I'm on that board with that, because at the end of the day, he's too short, and we know how Darvin Ham is with short players. 6'2", he ain't getting the boards, likely getting laid up on, that type of stuff. It just, nah, man. I need more from Gabe Vincent, and to understand that he is a shooting guard at 6'2". He's not a point guard. So when you try to run plays for him like he's Jalen or like he's D'Angelo, trying to get passes off to other people, sometimes that really does turn into some trouble. I would love to see Max Christie tonight. I would love to see Max Lewis tonight. The two Maxes need their minutes, man. I know Coach is hesitant to play these young players, but to be honest with you, Max Lewis specifically has played very well with the minutes given in preseason. He deserves some minutes, likely minutes over Cam Reddish. So depending on how Cam is looking out there, if he's jacking up nonsense like he tends to do at times, I want to see Max Lewis, because Max Lewis is a good selector of shots. That's what I noticed about him in the preseason. He takes good shots, and he likely passes up shots he has no business taking. Shows a level of IQ on the offensive end that we can use, and athleticism and length that can help us as well. And of course, Max Christie. My only issue with Max Christie is the same issue I have with, Gabe Vincent, in a sense that the passing has been a little subpar. He's a willing passer, but he ain't good at it. That's my problem with Max Christie. So sometimes the ball movement can go a little south when he chooses to press the wrong button, so to speak, and the pass goes errant, and then we find ourselves in situations where the flow isn't working very well. If his jump shot is working, he can go. His athleticism, his defense is all very good. But something goes wrong with the playmaking when you ask him to play make. So I don't know if I want to see him out there as much if he's going to be asked to make plays for others. If he's looking to make plays for himself, that works. If the shot's falling. And of course, Rui Hachimura, man, we don't want to forget about Rui. He's starting off cold. One of the things that you really count on when you're watching the Lakers from a scoring perspective is him putting his head down and scoring the ball very efficiently. Last year, he barely missed any shots at all in the playoffs, it seems. The only problem we had with him is we didn't have him on the floor enough. This year, we've lowered his minutes to just 12 minutes in the last game. And the first game, he was ice cold. I need him to have a bounce-back game against Sacramento if we have any shot of winning this basketball game. He helps us on the defensive end. We know he can rebound the ball and show some athleticism, but if he's not going to be efficient, it's a different type of game for us from that power forward position. So I need Rui to step up. We got to use Rui. We got to use Wood. And I really genuinely believe if we put the maxes on the floor, we'll feel good about that as well. Austin Reeves, score the ball, man. I like that you can do a lot of combo stuff, rebounding, defense, all that's good. But if you're only going to give me 15 points and we only scoring 100 points, you didn't do enough, brother. We know which level you can go up to. You're one of the most reliable players we got. You probably should be the third option on this team at this point, and I haven't seen him step up into that yet. Not yet. He gets into his little mid-range area and makes his little shots and stuff like that. I need more of it. He can definitely be an efficient three-point shooter. I need more of that. So that's really what it comes down to. I don't know if we want to shake up the lineup a little bit, but we do need to find some offense somewhere, and our bench has not given us enough of it. So that's really the thought, man. Hopefully we do better against Sacramento than I'm expecting, but all in all, I'm not expecting much, man. And Bron is going to have to come through. The King going to have to come through against the Kings, just like he did against Phoenix, in all shapes and sizes in order for us to go to work and really be competitive tonight. What I do like from LeBron James before we get out of here is his passing. Just like we said, all right, we've had some playmaking issues, not with the King. He has upped his assist total quite a bit in these first two games. If I'm not mistaken, he had like 8 or 9 assists in the last one, about 7 assists in the first one or something like that. Don't quote me, but he's been good playmaking, more so than he was looking to in the last couple years. He'd hover a little lower than that. I want to see those assist totals continue to increase this year. Pass up some of them three-point shots and make plays for some of these guys who don't do nothing but score the ball. That's what I want to see from the King, and of course continue to drive, because he's got his legs underneath him, and it's really been helping us score the ball, both in transition and in the half court. So keep the ball, keep pounding it, Bron. We need your pressure on the rim about as much as we need anything out there right now. So yeah, that minutes restriction crap, with that being said, do away with that. I don't want him to have anything less than 31 minutes tonight, even if it is a back-to-back. I don't care. I do not care. We can't function without him, and we've proven that through 2 games. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Enjoy the game. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Of course, it's in Sacramento, so the beam will go up if we lose. That should be motivation enough to keep us from losing. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.